I'm Kahja Elliott, and I'm a food enthusiast. Bronx born and raised, ATL made, Bay Area becoming. And I talk to people about how they create community through food in the Bay and beyond. Welcome to the As Told By podcast. Welcome to this week's episode of the As Told By podcast. This is the final episode of season 6. And despite traveling, city to city this year for this season of the podcast, of course, I'm closing it out here in Oakland. I'm talking to a duo whose culinary footprint covers bold flavors from their collective Teochew Singaporean and California Italian backgrounds, celebrating the culinary legacy of the Chinese American and Italian American diasporas. They were recognized for their vegan cuisine by Michelin Guide, with inclusion in 2022 on the New York Times list of 25 restaurant dishes they couldn't stop thinking about that year. And they're also semi-finalists back in 2024 for a James Beard Award for Best Chef in California. I am closing out this season of the As Told By podcast with CY and Shane of Lion Dance Cafe, probably one of the most beloved pop-ups in the Bay Area. So welcome to the As Told By podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. So glad we could finally do this.
I know. I feel like I know y'all on a plate, but this is our first time meeting and sitting down and talking. So thanks so much for helping me to close out the season.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah. And you're kind of in our space. This is what a wound down restaurant looks like.
Yeah. I remember when it was wound up, I had a seat almost in the exact spot where I'm sitting right now. I've waited in this line outside before, so it's good to be back in this space for conversation.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's good to have you here.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump in.
Great.
When I think about Lion Dance Cafe, I think about the unique eclecticness of Oakland's food scene. And y'all are right at the top of that list as far as, at least nowhere on my radar prior to moving to the Bay. I've been here now for 11 years. So this was a new experience for me. So a signature question for the podcast, and I'll ask you separately. CY, I'll start with you. What kind of food family do you come from?
Food family. Well, I grew up kind of multicultural very much. Growing up in a Teochew family in Singapore with a mom who came from France, from the Brittany part of France. So very eclectic for sure. But food wasn't something that my family has had the luxury of thinking about a lot growing up. This was really something that was more of a matter of survival for them. And until very recent times, relative to the history of, say, Singapore. This is something that comes up a lot when I talk about coming from Singapore and being of generations older than us. And it's that it wasn't Crazy Rich Asians. It was still very much a bit of a jungle and very much just different. So my family takes food very seriously now. Mm-hmm. And mother being from France, also from a very modest background. Her own mom was a great and pragmatic home cook. Made the best potatoes I ever had, or maybe it's just distorted by the nostalgia a bit. Yeah, so food isn't something I grew up really obsessing over. I know a lot of chefs say I always grew up cooking and loving food, but really it was an integrated part of life for me, more so than a focal point for a really long time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And and it changed over time, but I don't know if you want to.
Sure. So, for me and my family, it was I don't know. I don't like saying, food was very important for us growing up, because it's important for everybody, but everybody needs to eat. But we definitely, my mom's father's family is restaurateurs. He has, I think it's 3 brothers, 3 of which opened restaurants, opened Italian restaurants. There's like in Vegas and LA and Buffalo, like, so our Christmas celebrations were always over the top, kind of the brothers like trying to outcompete each other and like and like we had the Feast of the Seven Fishes and things like that, where
The
it was
legendary.
Yes, exactly. And it was just like kids running around, goofing off, and adults drinking wine and just constant cooking and eating all night. The smells were just, incredible. And then like outside of, family celebrations, my mom was a great cook. And she would kind of, she tried to make things healthy to a fault sometimes, like putting broccoli and carrots on pizza, but at least she was making pizza.
I could get with the broccoli on pizza.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like just really intuitive cook, for sure. And then like growing up into teenage years, my parents were both just kind of working a lot, and my sisters are comfortable cooking for themselves, but I wasn't comfortable with them cooking for me because they were like,
sorry, sisters.
So like when I was like 13 or 14, I kind of became the de facto, like, parents are gone, I'm going to cook dinner for us, kid.
Okay.
And I'm the youngest.
Okay, so look, the youngest in charge. So you had to get in the kitchen because you were not on, the sisters' culinary program.
No, there's like a couple stories where I feel like Nikki in particular did this wacky thing by subbing cinnamon for nutmeg in a bechamel that she was making for like a fettuccine Alfredo or something. I was like, okay, Nikki, never again. You're never.
You know what, Nikki? I'm going to give you props that you even knew in your younger years that nutmeg went in a bechamel to even do a substitution. I didn't learn that till my 30s.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Nikki, you've been redeemed. You've been redeemed. I think this is interesting that y'all come from very distinct food backgrounds, right? And I have said this to friends. I've noticed this being in restaurants over the course of the year and being fortunate to be in some really high-end restaurants and seeing kids in there. And I'm just thinking, wow, like Roy Rogers, I'm telling my age. Roy Rogers was, a night out for me as a child. And these kids are in, award-winning restaurants at 7, 8, and 9. And I'm like, oh, okay, must be nice. So lots of food and celebration and big food and, occasion food and all those things. And then almost, scaled down, and food is for function, and, we're eating because we need to eat, right? So how do you all meet and then get into this place where you are producing food in a pop-up together?
Yeah, that was, at this point, almost 14 years ago we met in New York City. I was working in restaurants and decided I needed, like, I was studying cinema and photography at City College in San Francisco, which has like an incredible cinema program. All of the professors there have such vast like knowledge of the industry, but I was like also working in restaurants to get by and pay rent, and I liked being in restaurants more than I liked being in like on a film set. Is kind of what it came down to. And so I decided like I want to go to culinary school, but being vegan at the time and still today, there was like really only a couple options that were viable. So I went to the Natural Gourmet Institute that is now kind of enveloped by CIA, I think. Yeah. Just took the plunge and moved. Like I worked nothing but doubles for a summer and saved up a bunch of money so that I could kind of sustained myself while still working like on the weekends in New York, and went to culinary school. And then that's where we met. CY came from a different part of the world that they can talk about.
Yeah, I want to say that Nikki's going to be really stoked that you named her by name.
Nikki
Hey, Nikki.
Stanbridge knows she's not a very good cook.
Oh, come on. Yeah, so when I was, I was born and raised as a child in Singapore, and at a certain point, my sibling and I's mom decided she wanted to go back to France. So she took her kids with her, moved there, and so we spent the next part of, I'd say, my whole teenage years easily until my early 20s there. I was too young to understand a lot of things at the time this happened, but I grew up feeling a piece of me was missing. And I tried to explore it through art. I would draw a lot. I would paint. My mom really loved things like music and visual arts and all those forms of expression. And I just felt like something was missing. It didn't really click. I did move to Paris to study art in a school setting, and it just wasn't really working out for me. I was having a hard time like attending and finding how to get what I needed out of it or put enough of myself into it. And then I came across pictures of the work of Alain Passard, who is the chef owner of L'Arpège, known for its farm-to-table focus. Before that was really a term. And I was really blown away by how he was marrying his love of visual arts and music with storytelling and just putting kind of all of that on a plate. It was so impressive. I'd never thought of food like that, or food really that much. And something just fell into place in my mind. I just wanted to learn from him. He agreed somehow to take me on into his kitchen, have me work there. But first, since I came from zero experience, I had to spend the next couple months working on his farm, see where it all came from, and also start from that place. And it was the hardest physical labor I'd ever done at that point in time. And I was just hooked. It was constant learning, constant exertion, but constant state of just stimulation. Just everything was so interesting, and I just knew that's what I wanted to pursue. After a while, though, I found that I was really curious about the food scene, and specifically the vegan food scene out in New York. And so I joined NGI, which Shane mentioned. So I came over on a student visa to go to NGI. I read about it because I think it was Eric Tucker of Millennium and Bryant Terry, and a few others, like I think Augusta Yearwood went there.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, this seems like a good place to just learn a different perspective, different techniques maybe, and also just allow me to spend some time in New York and see how things are here. And we met, and turns out I stayed.
Yeah, we really just kind of clicked right away. We met in February of 2012, and we were married in May of 2012.
You ain't wasting no time, Shane.
Yeah. No, it was like I really wanted to, keep dating, and it's options are limited when see why I was on a student visa. And yeah, almost 14 years later, we're still happily together and making moves together and etc.
I love it. I love it. The lesson from that, don't let these men waste y'all's time. Don't let people waste your time.
Yeah.
When people know, they're sure about you, they make a move.
Yeah. And then, from there, we just we moved back to the Bay. I was living in the Bay, and from there, we just kind of worked at different restaurants. I was at Qua for a little bit, also Millennium. I was at Encuentro, which is a now shuttered vegetarian wine bar that had like really amazing dishes, a lot of fun small plates. But we were just kind of feeling like we wanted to explore what it would be like if the two of us just made food together and what the response to that would be. And so in like 2013, we started our pop-up that kind of snowballed into what it is today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the pop-up starts in 2013, and in 2020, September 2020, you open what we know as the brick and mortar Lion Dance Cafe. So of course, we all know what was going on in 2020. Was this something where you all had pre-committed before everything jumped off, and now it's like, okay, we're going to have to pivot into something? Or did you just come into 2020 like, I know there's a pandemic happening, but we're going to open a restaurant?
That's a great question. I mean, yeah, it's an important thing to acknowledge, just the circumstances at the time that were once in a lifetime. And so we were prepping out of a shared commercial kitchen and doing our pop-ups and catering, and overnight all the pop-ups were canceled because every place shut down. We had to refund all our catering clients with their deposits. It was just pretty hard hit. And we didn't get any of the government support because we were just self-employed. So we just suddenly went from having all these things lined up for the year to nothing, and having to actually give people back money. So that was really hard, but we just wanted to keep doing what we knew to do best, which was make food for people. And we were doing it out of our commercial space. We were preparing these meal kits for people to pick up, being distanced and all that. And we were using the funds from that to make free meals for all our industry peers who had lost their jobs at the time. But the commercial space was, it's hard when you're going through something so significant and not everyone is taking safety equally seriously. So we found that we had to actually be in control of the whole space and the whole experience and everything. And that really accelerated us looking for our own space at the time. Like,
so we got to get up out of here.
Yeah, when no one else was looking to open a restaurant. But that's exactly when we were like, oh, it's now that we need to really have our own space.
And we were really fortunate enough to generate some income, with the help of our friend Oscar from Tacos Oscar. He very generously offered the space, his space, because he wasn't using it for a few months, and he just kind of wanted to keep the lights on, just to ward off anybody that thought nobody was home, kind of. And it was just it was a great kind of stepping stone for us to kind of go from the shared commercial space to a space that was kind of that we could use just by ourselves for a couple months and help us regroup and still keep afloat, pay rent, stuff like that. And then, we're just keeping our eyes out for spaces coming up on the market. And we found this space here, and it was like $80,000 key money, something like that, and that was like pretty much all the money for us. But we were just able to we passed our initial health inspections, and then just started operating like having 2 pickup days a week, and we opened sales up on like a Monday for Friday and Saturday pickups, and like everything would sell out in like 10 minutes.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, we have this like 7 by like 12-foot walk-in or something like that, that we would just stuff to the brim with like produce and prepped like mise en place and everything. And after 2 days, it was just completely empty. So it was like thousands of items just in 2 days. And that was the first iteration of our brick and mortar, for sure.
Yeah.
How did you come up with like the concept for the food program initially? Because you'll come from 2 very different,
Right.
Food backgrounds, Singapore, Italian, California, how did you put together, okay, this is what the menu is going to look like? Because it was very eclectic. There was spice, there was heat, there was, it's vegan, of course, so there's no meat, there's no dairy. What was the conversation like as far as this is what we're going to be offering?
That's a really good question, because I'm realizing there was never really a conversation. It's more like we've been cooking together for so long with the pop-ups that we just kind of, sometimes we joke that we kind of grew up together because we've spent our whole adulthood together, basically.
Yeah, like became adults together, for sure.
And the whole time both cooking, it's kind of only slowly over time that we developed our way of collaborating, our way of making our flavors work together, each bringing in what we wanted to highlight, and just sort of developing our own food language together and food culture together. It was really slowly over time, and I think that's why, it wasn't really like planned. By the time we had to come up with a menu for the restaurant, it was really, what are some of the greatest hits we already have from the pop-ups? And then the rest is just going to be seasonal stuff from the market. And we already know how we want to treat it, because we already know how we each want to bring our own sort of flavor and influence and touch to the menu.
Yeah, we really kind of developed a shared food language, I guess, where we just kind of, and we also sort of a mutual like curiosity about food, where we just want to know. We want to know so much about it, and it's like there are certain facets that CY is more interested than I am, but there's just a shared curiosity and like need to know like what do we have. Like, we're coming at it from different angles, but actually there's so much commonality between the 2 approaches, that our families share, it was also kind of realizing that even if it was just as basic as like making a pasta dish out of leftovers that we had made that were more like Chinese leaning or something like that, where it's like, there's just so many techniques of that are sort of shared or fairly similar, and so we took that and kind of just elaborated on it and added our own just basic idea of what we think is good. Like,
Like noodles versus pasta, or nasi kuning, the yellow coconutty rice with slow stewed rendang, looking so much like
right, like ossobuco and a saffron risotto or something. Yeah,
there's just so many parallels, not just in the formats, but even in the presentations. It's pretty striking.
yeah.
Presentations y'all had down.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like when the episode comes out, I'll post some pictures from some of the past meals that I've had at your hands. Thinking back to those, right? You open and it's through a pickup system, right? So everything is to go. And of course, part of restaurants, dining in a restaurant is creating community, and it's that third space experience. So what were your thoughts on how are we going to create the sense of community that we associate with restaurants in a pickup environment where people would just basically come get their order and leave?
Yeah, that was really hard at the time. And there's something I want to add to what Shane said when he talked about us taking over this space, is that we did a Kickstarter at the time.
Yeah.
And everyone who had ever come to any pop-up really showed up. We were blown away by the support, and it really allowed us to take over the space. That was really amazing. And even now we see people who tell us that, I supported your Kickstarter because you were giving away free food at the time, or things like that. Just seeing how things wasn't the goal, but how things come around, how people remember. That was really amazing. And then, at the time also, we were just trying to do our best to keep people safe and offer them really comforting, nutritious, but also fun food. And it's sort of only after that we realized the imprint it left on people that we started getting messages again saying, this was something I looked forward to every week when there was nothing else to look forward to. Or, just sometimes you're just so in it trying to figure it out, and it's not until years later you get the feedback that you realize how it came across and what it meant.
Yeah, and I think we did our best to feed community members that couldn't afford it as much as possible. Like our employees who had roommates or friends or something who were food insecure, we would always kind of offload like a bunch of food onto them and make sure that, if we heard that somebody was hungry and couldn't afford food, then we made it a priority to feed them. Like it was, as long as we were open, we were going to make that a mission.
Yeah, for a while we were, this was out of Tacos Oscar still, we were doing produce boxes and things like that. I think it just felt like at the time we weren't even, thinking of the third space part because it felt so complicated. We were really just, what are people missing? What do people need? And what can we do about it with our limited but specific means and access? That was really kind of the thought process at the time.
And it's kind of this concept of mutual aid, where it's like we never did anything like out of any sort of expectation. We did it because that felt like just the right thing to do, not from like a capitalist perspective, not to help the brand or the image or anything, but because just like on a human level, we wanted people to feel fed and have something warm and spicy and like delicious, like in their belly, comforting and etc. And like I think in lieu of offering like a third space, what that is like a space for community gathering because of safety and like and everything, like we just did our best to make people feel like they could have a bit of safety from hunger, if that's what they needed.
Yeah.
And something to look forward to, and the feeling of just like care. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that part is important though. Like I remember those days, something to look forward to. It was almost, I remember it feeling almost like a game for, okay, we're going to release the schedule and you have to order. This happened with Hella Bagels. Shout out to Hella Bagels.
Right.
And it would, the order form would open up and it would be like the Hunger Games. And
Right.
it was fun. It was a thing to do, like to get
Right.
in the ordering system and see, can I make it in this week?
Right.
So even that, and although you couldn't come in and sit down, you would come and pull up on the block. There's a line of people. It probably was like the most human interaction you were going to
Right.
get that week. But even, thinking back on social media, y'all did such a good job of, showing the food and the menu, letting people know, okay, here's what you're going to order for the week. So even in those small ways that you can create those touch points, I always felt like y'all did a good job of that. Lion Dance for me was what I call experiential eating, or experiential dining, I call it, which is like the only kind of dining I want to do. I don't like to do, okay, this is just me. I don't like to look at menus before I go to the restaurant. And I almost never use Google reviews or Yelp. Like I'll use it if I want to know what is the parking situation at a
Right.
restaurant,
Yeah.
or like they have outdoor seating, like are there heaters, right? I'll use it for functional things, but I almost never am looking for food information there. And I'm just a fan of come out of Yelp, come out of Google, even come off of people's social media, trying to get like a preview of the food and go have your experience at the table. And once you were in, operating in a standard restaurant format, for me, that is what was unique about this. I always feel like you're looking things up, but you don't really know. Let me speak for myself. For me to look up your menu would have been a waste of my time because I don't know what half the stuff is anyway.
Right.
So I don't know the stuff. I'm not familiar with the ingredients. I'm not familiar with the preparation. So you might as well just come and have the experience at the table. Do you think the way people utilize all of these resources nowadays, what's up, Oakland?
Yeah.
Always makes an appearance.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think the way people dine nowadays, where, by the time they come, they've researched it within, an nth of its life, do you think that takes something away from the dining experience?
1,000%. Yeah.
Well, Shane has spoken.
Shane has spoken.
Yeah, it's so funny for me to hear you say that, because, and I'm so glad to hear that this was your experience here. I'm a very anxious diner. I always look up everything beforehand. But again, that's also me. I do hope and believe that the diners who came in with the same mindset as you, just like, well, surprise me, like show me what it's about, probably had the best experience. That's really my hope, and that's what it feels like. People who came in with just like an open mind and just kind of let themselves be guided by whatever format we were doing at the time, because we've done so many, as things reopened. And as we were also on the very cautious side of things that we still... We always got some flack for, but we'll never apologize for. So, yeah, that's good to hear. And, no, it's true. We know that there's always a part of it that's like, well, the whole menu is going to use words that are very region-specific or culture-specific, and a lot of the dishes are not even... like real dishes from somewhere. They're just things that we came up with as we were just blending cabbage we definitely want to use. Just a lot of it is not stuff that you could just look up ahead of time. So yeah, I think we tried to do a lot of the communication definitely in written form. A lot of posting the produce we were getting at markets every week on our social media to get people get as excited as us at the sight of just vegetables and just start to see more than a vegetable, just potential and ideas. And then when people are in the dining room, they see the transformation that this vegetable has undergone, and hopefully that gives them this sense of like excitement too. Maybe I want to try something like this, or at least like connection to the process. So we always tried to be as transparent as possible, I think. Yeah, just as a part of trying to make this passion of ours really contagious.
Yeah. And on that very note, we also did our best to include our front of house staff, at least those that cared to be involved, to get their hands on the produce as well. That I think that gave people a really like a sense that the front of house really knew what they were talking about, like actually had a visceral like knowledge of the produce and some of the techniques that we were using. I did like kind of fermentation workshops like with some of the front of house staff, like just talking about like how we make the fermented soybeans or pickled cucumbers or whatever it may have been. There was a moment where during a pickup, when we were just doing takeout, like a bottle of, it was a plastic bottle, but a bottle of like rice wine that I was experimenting with just kind of like exploded, just upward. It didn't, it's there.
That's what that is.
Look, I'm looking up at the remnants of that from way back. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we tried to be extremely generous with sort of our knowledge, and the technique that we were using, and then also just trying to get people to actually be able to know the answers to questions that we knew that they were going to get asked in the dining room. And not just be like, let me ask chef real quick, so that it felt like you can learn something if you come to eat here. And I think CY also touched on this, is like, even if you recognize the name of a dish or something, it's probably not going to be like how your mom made it, because
I'm not your mom.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, and then, just like, we had a lot of pushback on cooking pasta al dente, but I was like this is kind of like how I like it. Like, I think, and like, almost everybody loved it, and loved like the marrying of like al dente pasta with like some more like choo-choo flavors, and serving like something like a hawker noodle dish or something. Like, so I think if you kind of just look at social media and photos on Yelp or Google reviews or something, you're getting you're not really getting what the dish is about, really. You're just getting like what somebody else thought of the dish, and I don't think that's and like the it's never as beautiful as like when you see it like in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I don't like that whole business of reviewing food in the car. You lose. I mean, you lose like 70% of the experience.
Totally.
Absolutely.
If it's some fries or something, there's a limit to everything.
Right.
But
You lose
people
the
have
whole-
like whole meals in the car, and I'm like, This is not the meal.
takeout.
You
And,
lose the whole hospitality aspect too.
yeah.
Totally gone.
And
totally gone.
we tried to design the menu when we were just strictly takeout to be takeout box friendly food.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think fries are takeout friendly food.
A lot of things aren't.
Yeah.
You know, but hey, if you're in the car, do what you do.
Yeah.
Y'all have done lots of work in the pop-up space, and I always see pop-ups through two lanes. I think pop-ups are great for getting in front of audiences that maybe aren't going to come to a brick and mortar where you are, or, you know, just kind of found out about you on a whim and happen to be in town at a particular time. But I wonder sometimes if pop-ups alter the experience of food because you're not in your home space. And I'll give you an example. I remember before Burdell, the restaurant was open and they were popping up. And I remember going to one at Mago. And the food was amazing. I had a great time, but it was a complete different experience than when I had the food at Burdell once they opened the restaurant. So do you think people enjoy the food differently when they're having it at these various places versus the experience people had when they would come dine in at Lion Dance?
That is, in our experience, really true. Because dining is not just about, like we were kind of saying, it's not just about the food, it's about the whole experience, it's about the hospitality. It's something that is completely different because when you are popping up, you are being hosted and you are not able to control the environment, the hospitality or service, or sometimes even the price points, just so many other aspects of the experience. You are still serving your food, and sometimes that's all you want to do. But if you think that you need to offer a whole actual experience of hospitality, which includes all those things and music and more, then yeah, for sure, those are not things that you can do in that context. It's a lot more difficult to convey the full, I think, mission and personality of what you're trying to convey and offer and make people experience when you're just a pop-up.
Yeah, and you have to kind of design, like I'm using the word design again. You have to create a menu that reflects the space that you're in, like whether it's the equipment that you're using, or also like to kind of maybe reference the folks behind the space that you're in, because that, and maybe you're doing a collaboration with like a drink maker or a wine maker, like a cocktail person or a winemaker or a beer person. It's like we're always thinking about things in a lens, like through a lens that gives people a very specific rendition of our food, and will make people look at the person, like the product of the person we're collaborating with, like a little differently. It's been really fun collaborating with people, whether it's in this space or other or other spaces, just kind of like, you know, tipping the hat to or winking towards like their background, to sort of like lean into their influences, because, you know, we work with Tara, wine maker, who produces locally, and we kind of tried to make her feel seen in the food that we're making to pair with her wine, while still like maintaining our own vision and our own aesthetic and techniques and stuff. So pop-ups can be an extremely dynamic like way to play around with food and the food that you're comfortable making, but they can also just be like, I'm just going to bring my stuff to this place.
I'm just going to use your tables and chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, from pop-up to restaurant, you know, Lion Dance closed last year as a brick and mortar sit down restaurant, although you all are still, performing as a pop-up. And it's because y'all about to get up out of here. You are leaving the Bay and heading back to CY, your home territory of Singapore. I was fortunate enough to spend 24 hours in Singapore last year en route to Thailand. I planned to have a long layover, and I had the best time.
Nice.
I'd never been, of course, and I didn't really do a lot of research. One, because I wasn't going to be there that long, but also similar to the food, like I want to just go and have the experience in real time. I didn't realize it was so lush and green and tropical, and I knew about humidity and the rain and all the things, but at night it cleared up and I got to experience the Hawker Center. I think it's Lau Pasat, I think it's pronounced, and I didn't know where to look. Like it was all the things I had ever thought it would be. But it was just so amazing. There was food that just represented so many things, and people everywhere and stands everywhere. And then, even for all the stands on the inside, we went outside to the back and there was something called Satay Street going on. And then there's all this meat being grilled and beepers and things are going off. And I just was like, oh, this is great. And then I left there and I went to Marina Bay, and I just tried to give myself as much visibility to Singapore as I could in the time that I was there. It's such an expat city. You're from there, but as a person who's now lived away from there for an extended period of time, what of the Bay do you think you're going to be bringing back to what you do in Singapore?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm really glad that was your experience. It sounds like you really did a lot in those 24 hours.
I
That's
got
amazing.
it in.
Yeah. Yeah. And also talking about that, people who visit now, they see places that they've seen in photos and brochures before, like Marina Bay Sands or those like avatar trees. And that wasn't even there before, as in the very land. It's landfill, those parts. And what was around it was kind of jungle still. It's just changed so incredibly much over the span of my own lifetime, and even more the span of my father and his sister's lifetime, where they were born in a place that wasn't even Singapore yet. It's just there's so much context to this country that helps you understand sort of why things are happening the way they are, and the mentality of people who are from there. And yeah, being away has been really hard. That missing sort of part of me has kind of grown over time. At first being in the US, waiting for a green card, not able to travel. I felt like the gap was growing even wider. And then, of course, the pandemic, not only the pandemic itself, but also opening a restaurant then, not being able to leave either. There was just a point in early 2024 when I realized, wow, I've been here for this long, and I haven't lived in my birth country in this long, and I just miss it. And it's time for us to figure out how we can go back there, go back close to all my family too, while I still have them. Just the reality of the passage of time for us all. And that's kind of how we found ourselves first winding down the things at the restaurant, and then figuring out what we're going to do with the remaining time. But yes, anytime I've been able to go back to Singapore or check things out from afar, I've been just blown away by how much it's changed, how much the bar and dining scene have sort of integrated more this idea of this research for and pride in terroir, what this could mean for them. For a really long time, I'm of course oversimplifying vastly, but you kind of had two levels. You kind of had the hawker centers and the restaurants that were by and for locals, and then you had the echelons that were just for expats and tourists. And both sort of styles, again, really oversimplifying, were representing different styles of cuisines and sort of not interfering with each other. And really, in more recent years, we've been seeing this new generation of bars and dining come up where people want to charge what they need to, and they want to use local ingredients and use them to honor local flavors, and do it in a modern way, but do it for their peers, their friends, the other people who are also there, rather than just for the visitors. So that's been really just exciting to see. And in parallel, we have a lot of other things happening, like policy changes. The government itself trying to encourage more agriculture happening and more local produce being present on menus. And it feels like just a very exciting time for us to go there and see how our the way that we blend our sensibilities and the flavors that characterize our palates and our backgrounds can find their place in with like all local ingredients, because already here we're using a lot of Southeast and East Asian ingredients that we're lucky to find grown locally at markets. It's just such a privilege.
We are so spoiled here with these markets.
Absolutely.
Truly.
Yes.
So still that, I think we'll be able to still cook in a way that is true to us, since what we believe in is truly highlighting local producers, local ingredients, and we're just really excited to see how we can find our place in the current booming scene.
Yeah, and there's also this, like what I've noticed in kind of like new cocktail bars or restaurants, is there's a lot of folks that kind of leave Singapore, train at bars or restaurants abroad, and then come back and kind of bring their spin on things that they saw overseas and like translate it into something that's uniquely Singaporean. And I'm excited to like get to know the people doing like behind all these things. I'm really looking forward to just kind of being in community with people there, and hopefully we can figure out a way to bring all of our friends out to Singapore to do pop-ups there.
Yeah, we don't know yet what we're going to do exactly, but yeah, like Shane said, it's going to be about finding our community the way we did it here over time. And we think a lot of what we do as uplifting, like uplifting producers, uplifting farmers. It's just our medium is cooking, but if they weren't there doing amazing things, nothing we do would be the same. So we're, going to be finding a way to uplift there as well. Yeah.
Well, you're not leaving us empty-handed, because early, top of next year, y'all are releasing a cookbook, authentic, not traditional. So talk about the process of creating it, because I feel like from what I've read, this was an inside job. You did your own photography. Shane, you had that background and, you were able to put that together. Y'all, kept the funding in-house. You didn't go the traditional route for producing the book. So talk a little bit about bringing it to life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, so much testing, because we have most of the recipes, or a version of most of the recipes, already written, but they're written for cooks that cook professionally and need a little less written instruction than your average home cook. So instead of just like cook it till it's done, we had to like actually elaborate on that and like talk about cues and like give timing, but also visual cues. And then to make the recipes a little bit more home cook friendly, we also converted all of the weight measurements, because we pretty much exclusively use weight measurements in our kitchen, but we wanted to make it a little bit more home cook friendly by using volumetric, like tablespoons and cups and stuff. But yeah, the writing part was definitely challenging, and then there was a definite learning curve because I hadn't practiced sort of commercial photography, like oh, that's the freezer.
That's okay. Hey, freezer.
I hadn't really practiced commercial photography in a long time, with lights and backdrops and things like that. But we had a really good time doing that. That was probably my favorite part, is kind of revisiting that part of my past a little bit. Really pretty happy with how the photos turned out. We were really drawing a lot of inspiration from some like 70s and early 80s like food advertisements that we think are just so charming.
Fun.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting for us to get to work together, still with food, but in a completely different context. And we really wanted to inject into the book and into the photos a lot of the energy that our regulars had come to love and expect of us, while writing the book itself in a way that would make it appealing and helpful, but also just like attractive, hopefully, to people who even never heard of us at all, and are looking for either adding a different culinary repertoire to their arsenal, or looking for more, whether they're vegan or not, because that was never the focus of how we present ourselves, even though it is there. But looking for more, just vegetable recipes, whether they are vegetarian, vegan, or not at all. We wanted to communicate just how much we believe everyone deserves to, almost everyone deserves to have just really flavor-packed, really bold, plant-forward cooking at home. And that's what we tried to do with it. We also have a lot of sort of guides in the book for how to help you source and substitute ingredients, what to look out for. Our menus were always very clearly marked for allergens and substitutions and things like that, and we continued that with the book as well. And something we were not able to do as much in the dining room, but that you can do at home. There's also tips on how to make things more or less spicy.
Okay.
So we really wanted to make it user-friendly, not like some other restaurant cookbooks that are really a cool object and encapsulate a time for the restaurants, but for a home cook might be a bit more difficult to actually use. And this, our goal anyway with this was really to get people really excited to start cooking at home with whatever their means are at the time.
Mm-hmm. I love that because I am one of those people that would be, is intimidated the right word? I'll use it for lack of a better word. Intimidated to try to recreate some of these things that I've had from Lion Dance at home because it's very culturally specific, it's very ingredient specific, there's a lot of flavor layering. I'm like, can I recreate this at home? So if it's scaled in a way that the average home cook can recreate it, and I have all the cooking things and the spice collection, so I'm like, yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've written it so that people can follow along. And I am looking forward to getting my hands on the book and doing exactly that at home. I think the thing many people probably will want to know listening to this, and I want to know as well, is how many more bites are we going to get at the apple? Like, where are we with pop-ups for the remainder of time that we have you here in the Bay?
I think we're pretty much tapped out. We have... Yeah, see, I was going to pull up the calendar.
This is why I have my laptop here.
We might have a few more chances, y'all.
We did officially do our last pop-up at the Punchdown earlier this month, but we will still have a couple launch-related events in the new year when the cookbook arrives.
Okay.
But really... And this literally just happened before we met up with you. Mm-hmm. So I will have to confirm before the episode goes live. But it's looking real. There will be one more dinner event in February 26th. It's going to be a Lunar New Year collaboration with Katie right here of Greens in SF. So we're, really excited to be invited back and going to start working on the menu pretty soon for that.
We'll have our book available there. We're also doing a collab event in, can we say it, in New York.
Come on, exclusives.
Yeah, at Superiority Burger. Again, we're going to have the book available there. It's going to be February 23rd. And so we're just going to throw a few specials on the menu at Superiority Burger. Yeah, maybe we'll work on a cocktail with the head bartender there.
Bring some books, and none of these are posted yet.
Okay, so look, this is exclusives, and Carla, my acupuncturist, I told her I was coming here to talk to y'all, and she was hyped. And she loves what you do, and I was like, I'm going to find out if there's going to be another pop-up, and if there is, we're going. So Carla, we have another opportunity. We're going to get to go. Thank y'all so much for doing this. Definitely sad, the Bay is sad to see y'all leave here, but it sounds like you are going on, one, to be with family, which is amazing. Now more than ever, prioritizing life over work and business and all these things. So good for you. And then also to see y'all going there to, continue on the food program that you've built here, there. I couldn't dream of what it would look like when you're there in the place with all the things and the culture and the history. So good luck to y'all. I cannot wait to get my hands on the book. I'm definitely going to try to make it my business to be in one of these final opportunities to eat. And we'll share that information with the show notes. Tell people where they can find out about you all and about the upcoming book.
Right. So thank you so much for having us. It's been so amazing having all these years here in the Bay, and it's really bittersweet to leave now. But we are glad to get to leave an actual physical object behind in a way. So the book will be coming out in the new year. The best way to know all about that and where to get it, unless you already secured a copy during pre-orders, is on our Instagram at Lion Dance Cafe, or sign up for a newsletter at liondancecafe.com. And our website and Instagram are also the best way to know about these events. We will keep everyone posted.
Yeah. And congratulations on wrapping another season.
Hey, this is, I try to close the seasons out with something that is really representative of the heart of what this podcast has been about. And, even though I travel with it now, its inception was here in the Bay. It is all about creating community through food, which I think y'all have done such a beautiful job of. So thank you for helping me close out season 6. If y'all want to keep up with me in between episodes or in between seasons, you can find me at kayinthebay.com or on Instagram at heykayinthebay. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging. There will be reruns in between now and the new season that starts in the spring. But thank you so much to CY and Shane of Lions Dance Cafe for closing out this season with me, and I will see y'all in the spring for season 7.